Last year, I got to check out the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7 Pro X, a portable yet powerful laptop that I dubbed a Swiss Army knife for content creators. Today, I have with me the new Yoga Pro 9i, known as the Lenovo Slim Pro 9i in North America. Designed for content creators, creative professionals, and power users, the new Yoga Pro introduces many big improvements that make it feel like a whole new beast in a familiar thin and light body. I was so impressed by last year's model that I fell in love with it, and we quickly became very close. It even knew my browser history. Well friends, I've spent the last week getting close and personal with the Yoga Pro 9i to see if lightning strikes in the same place twice. Right off the bat, two things worth noting. Firstly, this is not a convertible like the Yoga devices of old, but a fully fledged high-end laptop like the Yoga Pro before it. And two, the unit I have with me today is an engineering sample, though I'm happy to report no funky issues during my time with it, which bodes well for the final retail units. The Yoga Pro 9i is offered in 14-inch and 16-inch designs, and the 16-inch model they sent me is completely maxed out with the highest spec available for this lineup, starting with the Intel Core i9-13905H processor, wielding 14 cores, 20 threads, and a max turbo frequency of 5.4 GHz. What's really cool is that this is actually a custom chip that features a 24% smaller package than a standard 13th gen Intel Core H series processor. And the implications of this are huge. A smaller package paired with a high efficiency board ensures shorter, faster paths between key components, lower latency, and faster 6400 MHz memory speeds. It also means more room inside the chassis for bigger fans and better cooling, allowing the device to receive an incredible amount of power, up to 100 watts for the 14-inch model and 130 watts for the 16-inch. Not only does this change the way I feel about having a smaller package, this is one of the many moving parts to Lenovo X-Power, which, if you remember, is a custom performance tuning solution built on the idea that hardware is only as good as the software it shakes hands with. So I'm glad to see Lenovo X-Power return to this generation of laptop with its leading thermal design power, custom scenario tuning, turbo matrix optimizations for maximum CPU and GPU performance, and top-tier hardware. This suite of refinements goes a long way to allow the most power delivery possible in such a compact chassis. Now, despite being pumped full of power, the next-gen chip's improved performance per watt means greater power efficiency that should help extend battery life, which we'll discuss later. Alongside the Core i9 processor, my unit is equipped with 64 gigs of LPDDR5 memory at 6400 speed, a 1TB PCIe Gen 4 NVMe SSD from Samsung loaded with Windows 11, and an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 laptop GPU with 4608 CUDA cores and 8 gigs of G6 memory on a 128-bit bus. The GPU is also NVIDIA Studio certified to promote optimal performance and reliability with a wide range of creative applications. Thoroughly impressed by what's under the hood, I am equally excited about the Yoga Pro 9i's display. My unit includes the upgraded PureSight Pro Mini LED display with a 3200 by 2000 16 by 10 resolution and 165 Hz refresh rate. Ooh. It features 1200 nits of brightness, which makes it viewable in the sun or on the sun. It is insanely bright. It's got Dolby Vision and delivers less than 1 Delta E color accuracy and 100% sRGB, DCI-P3, and Adobe RGB. Translation: this display is dangerous. What was supposed to be a brief visual testing session turned into an hour of me getting distracted by how great everything looks on this thing. The high pixel density produces razor-sharp text and images, fast-paced action moves at light speed at 165 Hz, and colors pop with true-to-life accuracy. The whole package makes the display perfect for video and photo editing, two creative tasks I do daily. I can preview my work with crystal clarity and color correct with utmost confidence, all without any eye strain thanks to the display's TUV low blue light certification. The mini LED display also supports touch functionality by default, which works very well and is super responsive. Alternatively, the Yoga Pro 9i can be configured with an IPS display that meets or exceeds Lenovo's robust PureSight standards to guarantee that stellar image. While raw performance is definitely my favorite thing about this device, as you'll see in the benchmarks later, I'll be damned if the display doesn't take a very close second. It is flippin' gorgeous. The 16-inch Yoga Pro 9i measures just 17.9 millimeters thick, with a weight starting at 2 kilograms or about 4.5 pounds. The 14-inch model slims down to 16.9 millimeters thin and starts at 1.65 kilograms or approximately 3.6 pounds. And sure, there are plenty of thinner and lighter options out there, but the laptop is still a breeze to tote around in my book, and although it's a little hefty, it's hard for me to care when I know how much power it's packing. Another focus of the new Yoga family is sustainability. In an effort to reduce its environmental impact, the chassis construction uses recycled aluminum and post-consumer recycled plastic, while the packaging incorporates recycled and renewable bio-based materials. Captain Planet would be rejoicing right now if he hadn't choked to death on a plastic straw. You may have also taken note of the laptop's new signature color, Tidal Teal, which looks even better in person than it does on screen, IMO, and adds a touch of artistic style without overwhelming the appearance. For optimal ergonomics, we get the same Comfort Edge design that was introduced last year. Smooth, rounded edges all around the laptop that don't dig into your wrists, keeping them free from soreness and fatigue. On either side of the laptop, you get 6 back-to-back Dolby Atmos speakers, or 4 speakers on the 14-inch model, that are easily the best laptop speakers I've ever heard. Low frequencies are represented shockingly well, adding depth and scale to bassy sounds, but the highs and mids sound even better, making voices and string instruments a joy to listen to. At one point, a YouTube ad started playing Yellow Submarine by the Beatles, and it sounded so good, I just watched the whole ad instead of skipping it. The volume is a little harsh for my ears when it's completely maxed out, but staying around 90 to 95% is perfectly clear and loud as can be. As for audio input, the device offers a quad array of noise-canceling mics. The backlit keyboard features several improvements over last gen that altogether deliver a great typing experience. Concave keycaps provide improved comfort, increased travel from 1.3 to 1.5 millimeters offers a more tactile feel, and a new actuation promotes a quicker response overall. These enhancements make what was already a good keyboard even better, and I can confirm that typing feels more satisfying and accurate on the new Yoga. Shortcut keys like volume and brightness adjustment are the primary functions of the F keys they share, which is a huge plus in my book. As noted by a reference sheet that came in the box, there's also function shortcuts for toggling the trackpad on and off, changing the display's refresh rate, and switching between laptop performance modes. As handy as these shortcuts are, I do wish there were symbols printed on their corresponding letter keys for easy reference. The trackpad is precise, responsive, and large enough to be in a support group. Fortunately, its sheer size hasn't interfered with my typing. Taking a look at the I/O, on the left side is a DC charging port, a USB 3.2 Gen 1 5 gigabits per second Type A port, a full-size HDMI 2.1 port, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C port supporting Intel Thunderbolt 4, DisplayPort 1.4 and PD 3.0, and an audio combo jack. Along the right side is a USB 3.2 Gen 1 5 gigabit per second Type A port, a full-size SD card reader with USB 3 speeds, power button, and an on-off electric shutter switch for the 5 megapixel infrared webcam. The card reader is a very welcome addition for content creators, but it seems that by adding the HDMI port, Lenovo had to remove one of the 2 USB-C ports that were on the Yoga Slim 7 Pro X, which I'll admit the Type-C fanboy in me is a little sad about. A minor critique about the power adapter. I wish the charging cable used a right-angle plug. Specifically when using the laptop on my lap while cross-legged, a right-angle plug would just be more comfortable overall and less prone to getting bent or damaged. And I feel like nearly everyone uses a laptop in this position at one point or another, so some ergonomic adjustments here would make sense. As I hinted earlier, performance is where the Yoga Pro 9i shines best. The high-end specs delivered impressive results in benchmarks like Cinebench R23, where the 13905H returned a single-thread score of 2039, a whopping 35% faster than the Ryzen 7 6800HS in the Yoga Slim 7 Pro X that we tested less than a year ago. That makes its single-thread performance roughly 66% higher than the Core i7 7700K. With a multi-thread score of 18,625, the 13905H was 58% faster than the Ryzen 6800HS and even toppled the Ryzen Threadripper 1950X, a 16-core 32-thread high-end desktop processor, which is just bananas. In Adobe Premiere Pro, our CPU, with the help of the GPU via CUDA acceleration, was able to export a 4K 30fps 10-minute color-graded project at 50 megabits per second in just 4 minutes and 2 seconds, whereas the Ryzen 6800HS from last year took 50% longer to render a similar file. During the render test, the CPU package temperature spiked to a max of 100 degrees Celsius, but fortunately this was a one-time occurrence that only lasted a few seconds before dropping way back down. It was a relief to see the average temperature at 72 degrees C, indicating adequate cooling under heavy workloads. By the way, the video editing experience on this thing, awesome. Silky smooth playback on the timeline, even at 16x, and not a hiccup inside elsewhere. My workflow is fast and fluid on this thing, and if this was my personal unit, it would instantly replace my current one as my primary editing laptop, hands down. On a quick side note, for Adobe users like me, every 2023 Yoga Pro comes with a complimentary 2-month membership of Adobe Creative Cloud, which is like $50 a month or something like that, so it's a nice little value add if you'll be using Adobe apps anyway. Now I want to reiterate that this laptop is 100% designed for content creators, and is in no way advertised as a gaming laptop, as that would compete with Lenovo's Legion line. But if we look at the Time Spy benchmarks, you'll see that this laptop can game, boy! Not that we should be focusing on gaming right now, guys, okay? So just ignore all of those buttery smooth frame rates I'm seeing in God of War, Halo Infinite, and Forza 5 on that sexy display. Let's not draw attention to any of that. Come on! When testing battery life on the unit's 75 watt-hour battery, the laptop lasted about 3.5 hours at 75% screen brightness when casually surfing the web. While it's light years better than any gaming laptop I've seen, the result falls way behind the 14-inch Yoga Slim 7 Pro X, which went for 6.5 hours in the same test. But this is actually not too surprising given the differences in size, display technologies, components, and a multitude of other factors. As you might expect, battery life becomes laughable during heavy-duty multitasking in performance mode. With a mixed test that included video editing, web browsing, and a large game download in the background, the laptop petered out in just 40 minutes at 50% brightness. It's safe to say that if you're expecting to throw heavy workloads at the system, it's best to be plugged in. To see how far we could stretch the battery life under dire circumstances or in low light environments like on a flight, I switched over to power saving mode at 30% brightness and was able to stream HD video continuously for 4 hours before shutdown. Admittingly, I would have liked to see the device perform a tad better in the battery life department. At the end of the day, Lenovo has once again managed to tick all the boxes for content creators, but this time they're filling in those boxes harder, better, faster, stronger. With more powerful, optimized hardware inside and out, it offers a huge step up over last year's Yoga Pro in nearly every way. Construction, aesthetics, ergonomics, and performance all exude a high-end product that every content creator, myself included, longs for in their workflow. If you guys want more info, I'll drop some links below, but that is gonna do it for now. As always, thank you guys for watching. Toss a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all in the next one.